The forecast for the weekend was looking pretty good, so I left a murky hometown and set off towards the Highlands in my camper van, and I was going through some familiar, lovely little towns, Highland villages, to get to my destination. And by the time I reached where I was going to be parking up for the night was closing in and all light had faded from the sky. The car park that I was going to be staying the night at was actually pretty good. It was pretty flat, which is quite important for a good night's sleep. So yeah, I got there, I switched the engine off and set about going into the back of the cabin to make it comfortable for the night ahead. That was good. What did I have? It was a pot noodle, a Bombay bad boy, and I've got Renegade Scott to thank for that because he has these, and yeah, it was quite spicy for my mild palate. Anyway, yeah, just having a cup of tea now. I'm currently I'm over 400 metres. We're in the van and using it as a base camp tonight, and this is why I bought the van, really, so I can get to the hills and don't have to get up at 2 o'clock in the morning like I have recently. I don't know if that video will be out or not, but it's a cracker. Anyway, as I said, I'm parked quite high, which gives me a good start in the morning, and I'm going up the 10th, I think it's the 10th highest mountain in Scotland. I've been up it plenty of times before, but weather's looking good for tomorrow. So a wee cup of tea now, and I just thought I'd share this with you. Marvel milk. A wee tip for you. I've not had this since I was a student, but when I got the van I thought I'll buy that because if I head off and I don't have time to get milk or what have you, I can use that as a backup. I always have tea and coffee in the van full time just in case. And tonight, it's a Friday night, I left immediately as I shut the laptop at 5, and it was pretty foggy coming up, actually, really foggy, so there might be a fog bank down below. I know today there's been a great inversion, but I don't think that's going to happen tomorrow. If anything, it'll just be low-lying fog. But yeah, the forecast's looking good, so I'm just going to enjoy my tea. I'm going to put the radio on, there's football on tonight, and just get my head down and get up early in the morning. Nice and starry out there at the moment as well, actually, I should say that. Might go out and have a look at the stars and then hit the sack. Right, take my shot up, have my tea, get the bed ready, and I'll see you next time. You'll see me, it'll be nice and early tomorrow morning. Right, night night. So before going to bed, I did indeed head outside just to have a look at those starry skies, and the moon also rose over to the east behind my objective for the morning. It was really quite nice. There was still a wee bit of cloud lingering about, and I set up a time lapse before eventually calling it a night and heading to my bed. I woke really early the next day. In fact, I'd actually set the alarm for a bit later, but just woke up, and it was yeah, just one of those mornings where I thought I'll just get up and get at it, and I'm glad that I did. But I was still a bit groggy in the morning when I woke up, and it took me a wee bit of time to get going and get that mojo ready for heading up the hill in the middle of the night. So after doing my zombie impression for, I don't know, a good 10 minutes in the van, I soon perked up and got my gear on and got the boots ready, and yeah, set about just making sure I hadn't forgotten anything. It was still pretty early, or pretty late depending on which way you look at it. So I didn't want to find out halfway up the hill that I'd forgotten a torch or anything like that, which has happened before. But yeah, it was soon time to open up the van, see what the night was going to be like. It was still very starry, and the moon was out as well, which was providing quite a bit of moonlight, which was going to prove useful in the following hours as I headed up the mountain to try and get to the summit for the sun coming up. It was now the back of 4. I'd spent a wee bit of time getting ready in the van, and I was all excited. And you can see that down below me there was indeed an inversion, and the fog was thick in the glens. I was really looking forward to getting a bit higher up the mountain to see what the views were going to be like over this band of fog. It was lovely. Oh. Right, hopefully you can see me. Just gonna have a wee break here. Well, I'm well up in the hillside now, and it's been another one of those walks in the dark. I don't know if you can make out behind me, we're starting to get the first signs of let's turn this off. Starting to get the first signs of dawn appearing just on the southeastern horizon. And it's about, I don't know what time it is, but I've been walking for about an hour and a half. I've got about another 150 metres to get to the first top, and then I have to drop down. The first Munro isn't the one I'm heading for, it's the one beyond it, and as I mentioned, I think it's the 10th highest Munro, but I get a good jump start at that high car park, and it's really beneficial. This is the main reason that I bought the camper van was for mornings like this, when the weather's good and I can get a really nice early start on the hill. But it's been lovely. There's a lovely bank of fog covering the big loch down here, which is lovely. That might provide some nice shots when I get to the top, but the aim is to get to the second mountain before the sun comes up. But yeah, I'm going to stop here, get something to eat before heading on up a bit further. Right, food. Oh, the summit, here we go. So this is the first Munro. Such a pathetic little cairn here, it's just a wee jumble of stones. So this is the first one, and I think, I need to check my map, but I think this is about 1100 metres, which is not unsubstantial. There's a wee breeze here. I think I'm going to make it to the top, because just over my shoulder here is the mountain I'm going up, and it's called Ben Lors, and I've been up here before. I'll maybe talk about that in a wee while, but I need to drop down to the Bela here, and it's quite a steep pull up to the top of the Ben. So I think I'm going to be lucky. I think I'm going to get up there in plenty of time. And behind me here, this inversion with the clouds is just absolutely beautiful, stretching right down the length of Loch Tay. Absolutely beautiful. Maybe try and get some pictures of that when I get to the top of Ben Lors. But tell you what, it's not warm. When I get to the top and stop, I'll be putting my duvet jacket on. Just a wee tip, if you're coming up and you're going to be spending any time standing about, it gets cold quickly, so always have a duvet jacket with you. Right, enough talking, let's get walking. Right, let's go. So Ben Glass, which I was just up, is the mountain you can see on the right hand side there. And I dropped down to the Bela, which is only, it sits at just under 1,000 metres, so you're dropping about 100 metres from Ben Glass, but then Ben Lors is over 1,200 metres high, so it's about another 200 metres of pretty steep ascent to get to the summit. But you know what, it was lovely. There was more and more light coming into the dawn skies, and I was really quite excited about getting to the top. So I'd usually stay on the top of a mountain to enjoy the sunrise, but there was an area of ground that caught my eye just to the south off a ridge, and I really was keen to go down and explore that, and it was a really nice wee area. It gave great views sort of south over that bank of cloud, and there was some geological features here which were quite interesting, especially in the area. I don't know if there's any geologists watching that can explain what they are, but anyway, it's worthwhile a wee detour down here. Fantastic viewpoint and some lovely ground. And I sat here and just watched the sun coming up. It was absolutely glorious. Well, that was absolutely fantastic. You'll have seen me going to the summit, and the summit's over there. And I didn't stop long there. I usually stop and do a piece to camera at the summit, but I could just see this lovely ridge coming down here. And I knew the sun was rising over here, and there's this big sort of inversion bank of fog down here. I'll show you, look at that down behind me. You might not be able to make it out. But I rushed down here and set the cameras up to watch the sun coming up, and this cloud up behind me here just lit up a beautiful, beautiful pink. It was just fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Anyway, so yes, that's the sunrise done. I can calm down now and concentrate on what I'm doing now. So over here is the summit of Ben Lors, which is where I was about 20 minutes ago, up there, and I've just come down this ridge here to get nice views. Usually you get cracking views here down Loch Tay, but this big bank of fog is where Loch Tay is. And then over here you can see the mountain that I came over, Ben Glass, and the campers are way down over there, but it's just lovely. The mountains are now starting to light up. You can see Ben More and Stubinian starting to light up, and then round over to towards Glencoe and these sort of places. But yeah, what a morning. I'm going to sit and get my breakfast now, my second breakfast, and then maybe take a donder back up to the summit. I'll report back in a wee while. Right, time to enjoy this sunrise. Right, so that's sunrise happened now. What a great sunrise it was. And my plan now is, what time is it? Yeah, it's 8:15 in the morning. I'm going to head back. I'm not going to go the way I came. I usually do go back up and over Ben Glass because you do get some good views, but I think the views that I've had already this morning with the sky going pink and the sun rising, nothing's going to beat that. So I'm going to take a loop and head back down the glen. So I skirt round the northern side of Ben Glass, which was the first mountain I went up, and I'll probably cut across the hillside behind me here to save me having to go back up to the top of Ben Lors. But it's just lovely. I'm looking over now and I can see all the Western Highlands lighting up now. It's going to be a glorious day in the hills, but you know what? Yeah, it feels like I've been out for a day already, but yeah, I need to get back to the van. I need to get back home. I think I'll be back home probably mid-morning, get some brownie points. Yeah, so I'm going to get packed up, get going down to the van, maybe get a coffee when I get there. Right, let's get going. So after enjoying that lovely sunrise, I packed my stuff up into my bag and shouldered the backpack again and headed back towards the summit of Ben Lors, which sits just under the 4,000 foot mark. And if you watch my last video from Ben Lors, you'll know what the locals did to try and push it over that magical number. Anyway, enough about that. I was soon heading back, and I did indeed skirt round the side of the mountain to regain the path without having to go back up to the summit. A wee shortcut. So I'm at the point where the path splits. You see the path going down here and it goes over to this Bila here. But you can see there's no sun down there, so I've changed my mind already. I'm going to go up and over the way I came. That's Ben Glass just there, and you can see it's in the sunshine and I'll get the views, so changed my mind already. But it makes sense. A wee bit more ascent, but it's not too bad. Right, let's go. Let's get cracking up Monroe number 3, I suppose. What a day though, lovely, look at this. Lovely jubbly. Right. Back up Ben Glass. Having gone back up and over Ben Glass, and it was the right decision, as you can see from the views here. I wouldn't have got them down the valley. Yeah, I made my way back down the way I'd come up to glorious, glorious panoramas, and soon I was back down near the van where the fog had actually risen and the car park was underneath the inversion. And the bed's still made. Might have a lie down. Oh, right, that's me back. Back in the van. I was going to make myself a wee cup of coffee. As you can see, it's a fabulous adventure. I had to put my bed away, that was still out. I'd be lying if I said I never actually laid down, had a wee rest before I put it away. But anyway, time for a well-earned coffee. So I never had my coffee this morning, and the sun has now come out down here. The cloud is lifting, so until the next time, stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next adventure. Right, let's get this coffee sorted.